come on, Jersey guy. If you want to be consistently included in these Preds fan reaction intros, you can't be sitting there with your ears plugged. You have to take an active role in these videos. What did you say? That's the problem. I'm sorry. I still have the ringing in my ears from the static sound from Bowie Sports South tonight. Preds lose 2-1 to the Winnipeg Jets in the Canada Life Centre in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Thursday night. They have now lost 3 of their last 4 against this yet underrated but very exciting Central Division rivalry, along with the fact that the Preds have now lost 5 games in a row this season. They're now the 9th worst team in the league, the 6th worst team in the West. They have scored the 2nd fewest goals of any NHL team right now, and they have the 8th worst goal differential. It is all going according to the plan. At least I hope. Because that plan is, as long as they don't screw it up by getting a winning streak together that will get them nowhere since they're in such a hole right now, that'll get them a lottery pick come April. I can't believe how long it's been now. This team has not picked in the lottery since 2014. That'll be 9 years in April of 2023. Come on, everybody, join the tank, because as I alluded to earlier this week, aside from the Chicago game next Wednesday, and then in Anaheim, the second last day of 2022, I do not want the Preds to win another game in this calendar year. I will not tolerate false hope just to be a fledgling playoff team. This team needs to continue to tank and lose to force changes and get younger on the roster, make changes behind the bench with a lame duck coach, and perhaps because he's been there so long and doesn't deserve to be able to tear down his team and build it back up again, but be sent away with the fan base's thanks, maybe changes need to be made in the front office too. No surprise that this team is in Winnipeg for Cody Glass's first game in his hometown and couldn't do anything to rally and help him get a win in front of all his friends, because the only highlight of the first period came 9 minutes in, and number 9, Philip Forsberg, scored his 9th goal of the season. What an alliteration there. For however it took the Preds that long to get its first shot on goal, and it's the only goal that will go in the net behind Connor Hellebuck. The Preds had the lead for a short time, because 6 minutes later, Kyle Connor's pass was able to get through a defenseman of the Preds into the blue paint. UC Saros is not able to get over as Dylan DeMello is able to backhand it home, tying this game at 1. While that lead was nice while it lasted, as this game would now become the UC Saros show for how long he could hang on to this tie before eventually losing the Preds another game. Not that this was on him, not at all. With under 3 minutes left to go in the first period, Tanner Jeannot catches Nate Smith in an awkward position. Yeah, it probably should have been a penalty. Tanner was very lucky to escape it there. The fans were pissed off. The Winnipeg Jets players were pissed off. And props to Tanner Jeannot. He answered the bell and got into a scrap that he fared pretty well in, and I would give him the edge in with Adam Lowry. So fortunately, after that, he wouldn't have to answer. Maybe he'll have to answer the NHL. We'll see if any supplementary discipline is called on Tanner. 1-1 would be the score after 1. The Jets outshot the Preds that period by a total of 10-6, something you would be hearing a lot of if you look at the box score after this game. If you hated the first period for the Preds, despite the fact that they scored a goal, you'd really hate the second period, because it was like a scene out of Top Gun or the sequel, Maverick, where all the Jets players were buzzing the tower that was UC Saros, almost a shot a minute, as the Preds allowed him to have to face 19 shots on goal. They were so lucky not to be down by a goal or more. And as something that could get worse, not for the players, but for us viewers at home, it was in the second period when I first started noticing that metallic sound coming from the Bowie Sports feed when I was watching it on NHL Center Ice. What in the world was that? I almost swore there. I only noticed it on certain camera angles that Bally Sports was using, and I asked other Preds fans on Twitter, and fortunately I wasn't the only one, so I didn't feel like I was going crazy. I almost wanted to switch to the Jets call of it, but I thought better of it because I didn't want to get even more ticked off if, say, I listened to them and they said Preds players' names wrong, so I stuck it through on Bally Sports, even though it never stopped. Somebody get word to them to fix that for the next game on Saturday. I didn't hear it on Tuesday. That was a home game. I didn't hear it on Monday because I got stuck with the Blues call, but I heard it also happened there. Bally Sports, please fix that. Come on, you're a professional television network. The third period was a lot more even in terms of shots on goal because the Preds had 11 to the Jets 10, but you would never tell it because the Jets' quality of chances were a lot better. And by the end of 60 minutes, this game somehow was tied at 1, thanks only the number 74 in the Preds net, UC Soros. Is this team able to get a point? And we thought maybe they could get a second point, but who's going to score on this roster right now? Answer indeed would be nobody. Preds' best chance, probably the one shot on goal that they got in overtime because the Jets would get 2. One would obviously be the winner. Granlund would come close to scoring, and that would be the end of it. And I thought it was going to end here because the Preds pinched too much, allowing Josh Morrissey a clean-cut breakaway from his own blue line, and UC Soros is able to get a piece of it, deflecting it away. And I thought, hey, if UC Soros can stop that and not get his nerves rattled with a breakaway coming in on overtime for sudden death, maybe the Preds could win this one. The answer would be, of course, nope. Just under 2 minutes left to go in overtime. The Jets are in the Preds zone. They think they've drawn a penalty, but the refs don't bite. The Jets players are ticked off. The Jets fans are ticked off, but the Jets players stick to their game and persevere through it. And Kyle Connor, who set up the tying goal back in the first period, uses Matthias Ekholm as a screen so UC Soros can't stop it as quick, and it gets through his 5-hole. UC Soros can see it going into that as he tries to scramble back to get it, but it's over the line, and the Jets win this one. Preds lucky to get a point that will mean nothing come the rest of the season as long as they don't stack up too many of these. Final score, 2 Jets, Preds 1. Preds have now lost 5 games in a row any way you slice them, and they head into Denver, Colorado to face the Avs team that eliminated them from the playoffs last year. Not the same Avs team right now with injuries throughout, but an Avs team that will be hungry because, one, they're ticked off about losing to Buffalo at home on Thursday night, as they are fighting for their playoff lives as they are tied for the second wild card with Calgary. If you want to know just how futile this team is right now, consider this fact. We're 28 games into this season and no Preds goalie has recorded a shutout. That is the 4th longest drought from the start of the season to reach the time of hopefully getting your first shutout. Only bested by the 02-03 season where the team took over half the season, 52 games, to record its first shutout of that season. That's the season where Craig Leopold was going to give everybody the refund for the season ticket increase. And we all know how that season ended. And then 42 games for the expansion team to get its first shutout of the season, recorded by Thomas Vokoun, as we all know, the first shutout in franchise history. And then in 99-2000, that team took 36 games into the season to record the first shutout for a Preds goalie that year. This team easily compared to the expansion seasons. If we haven't hit rock bottom, I don't know where rock bottom is from here. And honestly, like I alluded to at the beginning of this Preds fan reaction, I don't want this mediocrity to end this season. I want it to get worse. Don't give the die-hard fans of this team that want to see it rise to success again false hope. Give this fan base hope that with a proper plan, you can rebuild and get back to the mountaintop that was 2017 and actually convert it into a title. The only way this team is going to get back to being a regular season contender and perhaps playoff contender and Cup contender is to accept losing is a part of winning again and to accept being a draft lottery team. And it's not just going to take one draft lottery. It might take 2, maybe 3 of getting the right pieces together. Fortunately, not goaltending, as long as UC stays healthy and Askarov in the minors when he's ready to play in the NHL, and you decide who to make your number 1 goalie after that. Like I said, not just a roster. Changes are eventually going to have to be made when new direction and new leadership is made for this team behind the bench and the front office. GMDP, you are no spring chicken anymore. You're 72. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like it. You can find my social media by clicking on a channel name. Tell all your friends about Predemption and spread the word, Preds fans. It's time to jump on the tank wagon for a lottery pick. This team needs a lottery pick come April.